I saw Ellen and Melanie and her family up in Rugby last week.
Oh, did you go for that? Yeah. I've always wanted to go do that. We have overlap. One of Helen's closest friends is Shannon White. Little Okay, Chris.
Good morning, everyone. My name's Chris Edkins. I'll be a worship associate today. I'm a member of the worship committee. Welcome, everyone, to Westside Unitarian Universalist Church. We are a church where who you are and the values you embody in your everyday life are more important than the specifics of what you believe. As Unitarian Universalists, we covenant to support and assist one another in our ministries. We draw from our heritages of freedom, reason, hope, and courage, building on the foundation of love. Love is the power that holds us together, and it is at the center of our shared values. We are accountable to one another for doing the work of living our shared values through the spiritual. We have some announcements. You'll see some of them in your order of service today, but there's one new announcement that is not in your order of service that I would like to give verbally, and another one that is in the order of service, but I'll just call your attention to. So the special announcement we have for today is that we have reserved a few cabins at Rock Island State Park for the weekend of November 15th to 17th for our annual church retreat. This is the retreat that we used to do at Pickett State Park, but they started closing down earlier than we were wont to go there. So we're having to find a new space, and we have found a new place for this year. So mark your calendars, November 15th to 17th, where we've got those cabins already reserved. There will be sign-up sheets available soon, but start considering joining us. The cabins each have 3 bedrooms and 2 baths, so we'll be sharing space together. And while we ask that you pay as much towards your space as you are able, there will be scholarships available to ensure that everyone who wants to attend can do so. Rock Island is located on the headwaters of Center Hill Lake at the confluence of the Caney Fork, Collins and Rocky Rivers. It has a number of waterfalls, hiking trails and other nature activities. We generally share meals, and we'll be figuring out how to do that in this setting where there is no kind of big, large, no communal area for us to gather in. But we'll plan a Sunday morning worship service as well. So mark your calendars for that, November 15th to 17th. A little bit closer in, next week, there will be a Buddhist meditation workshop, Saturday, May 18th, and it's going to be given by Lama Lobsang Samten, who's a Tibetan Buddhist monk and spiritual director of the Paramita Centers of Canada. So there's no charge for that, but we'd like to know if you're planning to come so we can get an idea of numbers, but they will just be asking for a donation to cover travel costs of the leaders of that meditation. So if you would like to have a masterclass on Tibetan Buddhist meditation practice, next Saturday here at the church at 12:30 is the place to come. So are there any other announcements that need to be given that are not in the order of service, or? Okay, we got it covered. In that case, I will ring the singing bowl for us. Please settle into your seats as we ring the bowl to bring ourselves into our spiritual part of this service. Our chalice lighting words for today are in keeping with our topic of Mothering Sunday today. And we light the chalice in the Unitarian Universalist Church. It is the symbol of our denomination. We light this chalice for mothers and mothering, to celebrate those who have taken on the task of nurturing a young one, a baby, a child, or youth into adulthood, to celebrate those who have nourished the light of truth and compassion in growing minds and hearts, to celebrate those who have committed time, money, energy to growth of others in this world. We light this chalice to celebrate and hold dear this flame of love.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. It's great to see you all here. If I haven't had a chance to meet you, I'm particularly happy to see you this morning. And for those of you who are with us virtually, it's great to have you here, whether you're here this morning or whether you're here at another time. I'm Reverend Carol Bodeau. I'm privileged to serve here as minister. And today we are talking about mothering. So happy Mother's Day. But I've been saying, I talked about this in spiritual practices this morning, that I sort of like to think of it as not Mother's Day, but Mothering Day. Because there are people who are not biological or even adoptive mothers who do a lot of mothering. So in fact, anyone who's ever done anything nurturing in your life can get a little bit of celebration today, okay? So I'd like to invite us to just take a moment to take a couple deep breaths. I've lit our joys, our main joy and concern candles up on the chancel. We'll be doing joys and concerns today. And we're going to do a two-part joys and concerns today. One, we're going to just be naming the nurturing, mothering figures in our lives. And also, we're going to actually do any joys and concerns that you might have. Take a couple deep breaths and call to mind and body and heart the quality that you associate with mothering. Maybe that's comfort, encouragement, nurturing, courage, determination, whatever it is. Today, as we go through our time together, I invite you to contemplate how you yourself in your life, embody these qualities that we are honoring as we celebrate this day. And the choir is going to sing a song that almost nobody knows. So this is a learning opportunity. You all just get to listen to it. We're going to sing it for you. And then hopefully sometime in the future, you will all sing it with us. It's called Mother of All. And so it's a relatively traditional Irish tune with words about images of mothering. So I'm going to invite the choir to come forward. Up here on the tune. So that song names a bunch of qualities, okay? It names a bunch of qualities that we traditionally associate with mothers or the feminine. And it says we've praised them forever. Nurture, love, grace, giving, mystery, compassion, gentleness, wisdom. The earth is represented as a mother, beauty. So, let's talk for a minute about what actual mothering is actually like. Is it always like that? No, it is not always like that. It is not. If any of you, parenting is not like that. It has its moments, but has anyone ever raised another human being? If you've raised another human being, raise your hands. How about if you've raised a pet? Or had a cousin or a niece or a nephew? Okay. All of us have had cause in our lives to at some time provide nurture or care. We talked in spiritual practices this morning about how we as a culture have divided the masculine and the feminine into these very sort of discrete boxes, right? But it's not quite that simple. And giving care often involves qualities of both of those. So I've thought a lot this week about what it means to parent or mother or give care. How many of you have pets or have ever had a pet? Okay, so if you've ever had a pet or known anyone who had a pet, you might be able to relate to this. I have an 11-year-old Chihuahua named Dora and a 7-year-old cat named Percy. And the two of them were both separated from their respective mothers way too early in life. They were separated before the time that they would have really been ready to wean. And so they have, of course, decided that I am the mom, okay? If I sit down, particularly if I sit on anything that's soft, and even more particularly if I put a blankie on my lap while sitting down, they climb on me to cuddle. They will come running literally from anywhere else in the house to sit on me. They want me to stay there where I am with them indefinitely, because they ain't got nowhere else to go, right? They don't care that I need to go to the bathroom. They don't care that I'm hungry. They don't care that I might need to answer emails. They don't care. Even when I'm like, I don't want to sit here anymore, I just am bored, they just want more cuddling. Anybody relate to this? This sound familiar to anybody? Okay. How many of us want to be the kitten or the puppy who doesn't have to go anywhere and who can just sit somewhere soft and cuddly and nourishing indefinitely? These are basic qualities that beings need. I can't speak for insects, but I'm pretty sure that most mammals anyway, and we know some other species that are not mammals also might have these qualities. That is precisely what caregiving can be about. Being present, showing up, providing nourishment and care. But it doesn't always look like that, does it? Sometimes a good parent has to say, I am getting up now and you will be independent while I go answer my email, right? And that happens whether or not you're a biological parent. It doesn't matter if you're the designated mother or father or have some other title or name. What matters is that caregiving is essential to life. There are all times in all our lives when we need to either give or receive care. These are essential moments in all our lives. And sometimes that caregiving requires self-sacrifice. Sometimes it involves compromising our personal comfort or our personal desires in order to be present for another being. And that doesn't change when you get to be a grown-up. I will tell you that I call my mother every week, at least once. And if my dad didn't have such difficulty hearing, I'd be calling him too, right? We as adults still need people to give us care in our lives. Sometimes a partner fulfills that role. Sometimes the pet actually fulfills that role, right? By sitting on the lap. So as we celebrate what we call Mother's Day today and Father's Day in a few weeks, we honor the caregivers who in the past, in the present, and in the future help us to grow. We also honor the ways that we are caregivers to each other, the ways that we provide nurturance in our communities. Now, traditionally, as I was saying in that song, certain qualities have been attributed to the feminine or the mothering, and other qualities to fathers. Now, the most obvious stereotype of this division is in the way that we say that dad is in charge of the yard and mom is in charge of the house, right? Dad takes the garbage out, mom cooks the meal so that there's garbage to take out, right? Mom cleans the house, dad mows the lawn. But as we were talking about in our spiritual practice this morning, those qualities of the indoor and the outdoor, the masculine and the feminine, they actually go together and are in all of us. So how many of you are familiar with the symbol from Chinese philosophy of yin and yang? It's that circle that has the half of it's white and half of it's black, and the white fish looks like a fish, has a black circle in it, and the black fish has a white circle in it. That concept, yin and yang, can be described as sort of the coming together of duality. Right? So, sun and moon, masculine and feminine, active and receptive, right? They're not really opposites. They're complementary ways of being. So what are the qualities of the feminine, right? We think of the feminine as receptive. It's the one who you can come and sit on their lap, as being present. How many of us have experienced those more in people who are in self-defined male identities? Right? Sometimes the greatest mothering qualities come from someone who self-identifies as male. And sometimes what are those masculine qualities? Qualities of taking charge and going on adventures and being in control of things. I don't know about you, but I know some people who identify as women for whom those are pretty strong qualities in them. Taking charge, leading, being outgoing. So what are some of the archetypal images we have to define the mother? I'm going to give you a chance to shout some of these out in a minute. When we say the mother, the first one I think of is Mother Earth, right? The mother is often defined as the one that gives birth. And we are all creatures of a planet without whom we could not live. We get life from the earth. There are many mythic mother figures around the world that are actually goddess figures. So I just made a tiny little list of these. And the mythology around these goes on and on and on and on. Breed, Sarasvati, Lakshmi, Parvati, Durga. Those last 3 or 4 are Hindu, Nut and Mat. Egyptian, Zambesi, African, Danu, Irish, Demeter, which is Greek, Pachamama. The list goes on and on and on. If you Google names for the goddess mother, the great earth mother goddess, it's like 2 pages long. So there's something in our societies as human beings that says we need to honor this and we need to pay attention to it. So how about some more contemporary images of the mother figure? Religious traditions often pick up on individuals. One of the most famous of these is Mary, mother of Jesus. And whether or not you've ever been in a Christian church, some of us have and some of us haven't, that figure of Mary, the mother of Jesus, is embedded in our culture in deep ways. Anybody know the Simon and Garfunkel song? When I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Huh? It's the Beatles. Oh my gosh, sorry, Simon and Garfunkel and John, Paul, Ringo, and gosh, thank you for catching that. Okay, nevertheless, see, I care more about Mother Mary in it than who sang it. Okay, so think about that for a minute. Mother Mary, how would this song be if we made her do what we think of as masculine things? When I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, shouting yells of protest, get your butt out there, get your butt out there. It's a different song. It's a different song. And yet both qualities matter. Both qualities matter. There are times to get out there. In a few minutes, we're going to hear a song about women, people who identify as women, as grandmothers, getting out there and taking action. All right, how about some more specific historical figures like Mother Teresa? Why do we call her Mother Teresa? What is it about her? We don't call her Warrior Teresa, right? We call her Mother Teresa because of the kinds of behaviors she engaged in, the kinds of energy she embodied. All right, your turn. Famous mother figures that come to mind. Sojourner Truth, yeah. If you Google great mother figures, you're gonna find Sojourner Truth. Why is that? What about Sojourner Truth? Anybody have any sense of why that is?
She sacrificed to help others.
Yep. She actually had a lot of children, and she also spent her life sacrificing to help others. There's a dark side to this stereotype, by the way. There's a dark side to it. There's a dark side to it. Any other great mother figures that you can think of? Wow, it's a quiet room. Boudica, yes. Okay, want to give us a quick story of Boudica. Okay, so Boudica was a warrior, a feminine warrior figure who she fought for her tribe. She fought for her tribe and sacrificed for her tribe. But often she's considered not so much as a mothering figure, but yet she's a warrior mother. Do you see how problematic these stereotypes are? They're highly problematic. And yet we still want to honor. Oh, Henry, who you got? What you got, Henry? You. Oh my goodness. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. It's a lot of kids to have, though, let me just say. Well, that's true, right? Let's think about our religious and our political leaders. Do we want them to embody feminine or masculine traits or both? Right? That's an important thing to think about. I am not here to tell you there's simple answers to this. Today is a raise the question day. So how do we imagine the feminine in ourselves? For how many of us has being feminine been a requirement that we resisted? Right? Some people who are born into female bodies and are trained to be women really don't want to cross their legs or wear dresses or be gentle or demure. Some of them want to get out there and shout, right? And yet, what we can do is we can be aware of the positive, beneficial, healing, healthy, nourishing, nurturing qualities of what we call the feminine and the masculine. The receptive, the yin, the nurturing. That's necessary for all of us. As is the active, the outgoing, the yang, the ability to take action and be strong. These are important qualities. So I gave people in spiritual practices an assignment this morning, which I've just decided on the spur of the moment to give to all of you. Some of you will have already practiced, so you will feel experienced at this. Okay, so everybody take a minute and close your eyes. Or look at something on the floor around the room that makes you feel comfortable. Rest your gaze somewhere. Now, I'm not going to invite you to call to mind your mothers, but if they're the person that comes to mind, great. Call to mind the most nourishing, nurturing presence you can think of. Call to mind the presence of someone who made you feel safe, comforted, when you felt vulnerable, when you were struggling. Someone who you knew that you could talk to when you were scared. Someone who made it important to nurture you as an individual. And think about what it felt like to be in their presence. Now, keeping your eyes closed, we're going to take another step. Imagine yourself as that person, or think of a moment in your life when you have been nurturing. Maybe that's caring for a sick animal or tending to a child. Could even be in your garden, tending to plants. A moment when you were embodying, nurturing, caregiving, gentle attention. And now, keeping your eyes closed, think of someone whom you admired that has embodied what we would think of as masculine traits, the young, the active, the outgoing, the courageous, the bold, rather than holding and containing. We think of yin as being and yang as doing. Think of someone who had that energy, that quality to them, or who has that quality now. Who said, yeah, let's go do it. Come on. Let's get moving. You can do this. You've got this. What can we do? The ability to act and be bold. What does that feel like, to have that kind of spark or energy around you? And think for a minute of times when you've been like that. Moments when you're like that. How can you be like that? In what ways do you embody that kind of active, moving, doing, fiery kind of energy? Okay, that was the easy part of the test. Now, the tricky part. Can you imagine being both at the same time? Maybe that's alternating between them. But like the yin and the yang, like that symbol, wholeness comes when we are able to contain both of these in one person. Today, we honor the yin, being, receptivity, the energies that are quieter and calmer like the moon. And in June, we honor yang, the active, the doing, the outgoing. But wholeness is where those two things come together. They can come together in individuals. They can come together in communities. They can come together in partnerships. But it is the union and the balancing of those things that brings us wholeness. So in a few minutes, we're going to do joys and concerns where you can come up and speak a joy or concern. Because the point of a community like this is to also be a nurturing container, like the beingness, to hold that. And sometimes we do actions to show caring. But before we do that, I just want to take a moment, and you're going to be able to say this out loud. I'd like us to speak into this space the names of all those nurturing, mothering presences in our lives that we're holding in our hearts today. Maybe they're still with us, maybe they're not with us. Hold them in your hearts, and if you would like to say their names out loud, I invite you to do that. So we're just going to do that now. You can just speak those names into the room.
Jim.
Yeah, Jim. Julie, and you don't have to take turns. You can all just name them. Julie, Beulah, yeah, Marion. Yeah. Jean. Let's take a moment of gratitude. Just a moment of gratitude in a world that is challenging. We are grateful for all the care and nurturance that has been provided us and continues to be provided for us by the others who surround us. And Chris, would you light candles while we do our joys and concerns? If you have a particular joy or concern, this is a moment of nurturing in this room where we all hold space for one another. If there is something you're holding in your heart that's either a celebration or a concern or a care that you're carrying, and you'd like to come forward and just say your name and tell us what that is, Chris will light a candle for that for you.
You don't have the mic?
He's got the mic right there, so you can come on up if you've got...
Don't light candles and carry the mic.
Hi, all right, so I'm Judy Winchester. I just got back from a visit near Philadelphia with one of my two daughters. But the one I want to talk about that I'm really excited and proud and feeling special about is my other daughter that lives in Rochester, New York. So while I'm visiting in Philadelphia, my daughter and I, we drive to Rochester, New York to see a play that my daughter wrote and produced.
Oh, wow.
She co-wrote it. It's the first time she'd ever done anything like that. It was produced at the First Unitarian Church in Rochester, and I am amazed. Mothers can be proud. Well, this is one proud mother. She'd never done anything like that before, and it was a great play.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. You know, you can also be mothering and fathering to projects, creative projects too, so that's awesome. That's awesome. Anybody else?
My name is Ann Hess, and after a long wait, my partner is finally here with me in Knoxville.
Yay! Welcome, Joe. Yay! Awesome. Come on up.
Hello, I'm Erica, and I got my final grades back, and I made no grade lower than a B.
Yay! Woohoo! Congratulations! Fantastic. David?
I'm coming up on my 44th wedding anniversary in a couple of days.
Yay! Congratulations.
So it's not always easy, but it is possible.
Yeah, yeah. Congratulations. That's great. Congratulations. David had one.
Excuse me, my name is David Howell. As Carol was asking all the questions there, the figure that came to mind is my sister, because my mother was not a very mothering person, and my sister was. And the joy is, at age 89, she's having her first book published
Oh,
this
that's
summer.
fabulous. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Are there any online, Linda? Nope, okay.
I am Tremaine Hawkins, and I'm in my advanced mixed choir, and about a month ago we went to our state competition, and we had 3 choirs go, and all 3 of our choirs got superiors in every single category.
Yay, congratulations. Fantastic. Fantastic.
Hi, I'm Barry Shumpert. I was thinking during the service about a situation that I'm going through. My mother, who of course was very nurturing to me and my siblings as we grew up, is now 98 years old. She's in a nursing home, and over the last 4 or 5 years has lost her abilities to take care of her household, herself, and so forth. And the nurturing that she nurtured us into life and into independence, and now we're trying to nurture her as she declines and out of life. And it's nurturing has different aspects to it that, than just growth. It's also nurturing into the other direction.
Yep, yep, yep. Yep. Jerry.
I'm Jerry Thornton. Alice, my spouse is out on the front porch talking to her daughter at the moment, I think. We were blessed with a recent trip to Belgium and Netherlands to visit our son and his family in near Sittard in Netherlands. And our little grandson, who's 9, Fox, who some of you know about, was in Seussical the musical while we were there. And so we got to see our grandson perform twice in this crazy little children's musical, and it was a lot of fun. And Fox called his Gaga this morning. He calls her Gaga. And so she's been talking to her grandson and our daughter instead of attending church, but that's fine because that's much better.
Yep, yep. We support that. Oh, Barbara in the back.
I just want to say how grateful I am for the evening we spent last night at the farm. Carol and Tracy, it was really wonderful. Really, it was a joy to us.
Yeah. Yeah, we had a wonderful, that's a great candle. We had about a dozen people at the farm last night for a belated Beltane celebration, and we had a great time. Yeah.
I'm Suzanne Molnar. Earlier, when Carol asked us to think of nurturing, warm, safe, always there, that was not my mother. My mother wanted to be a guy and was as much of a guy as could manage for someone born in 1906. Who I thought of was my husband, David. I didn't want to embarrass him, but I'll embarrass him now. Feel nurtured. I have a call to return from my daughter, Julia, and I feel she was, for those of you who were at our wedding, she was the one going around with, she was not only my maid or matron of honor, she was the one with the camera, just photographing so much and us over and over and over and over. I feel very nurtured by my daughter, Julia.
Mm-hmm. It's beautiful.
When we're thinking about people that nurture us a lot, I was thinking of my grandma, Granny. She's really nice, and when my mom was dating with...
That's okay. Yeah.
Granny's the real
I heard that Granny's the MVP. Granny's the MVP, yep, yep. So let's just take a moment. Chris, if you'd like one more candle for everybody, that everything, all the joys and concerns that you're holding in your hearts. This life is just one ongoing process of joys and concerns, is it not? We move through challenges to celebrations, and then there's another challenge and another celebration. Our ability to show up for each other is essential to our wholeness and well-being. And sometimes we're the one receiving care, and sometimes we're the one doing the things to give care. So we're going to listen to a piece of music that is a beautiful demonstration of people embodying a mixture of nurture, holding, receiving, and also action. The power of this mothering principle, engaged to change the world, is immense. This is a song called 1,000 Grandmothers. It was written by Holly Near, who some of you who are a little bit older will know. Holly Near is a feminist activist, a womanist musician. And she wrote this song, 1,000 Grandmothers, in the year 2000. It's all about the powerful and active force that feminine energy can be in the world. And this version of it is performed by a group from Northern California called Emma's Revolution. And it was performed later after Holly had written it and sung it for a while. So Brad's going to play this song for us, and then we're going to talk a little bit about what it inspired.
will surely volunteer with their ancient wisdom flowing. They will lend a loving ear. They will lend a loving ear. First they'll form a loving circle around the wounded wing, then contain the brutal beasts of war. Sweet freedom songs they'll sing, sweet freedom songs they'll sing. A lullaby much stronger than bombs and threats to kill. A force unlike we've ever seen will break the murderer's will. To the prisons we'll invite them. Most violent souls will weep when 1,000 women hold them strong and pray their souls to keep, and pray their souls to keep. Let them rock the few who steal the most and rule with youthful charms, so they'll see the damage that they do and they'll fall into grandma's arms. 2,000 loving arms. If you think these women are too soft to face the world at hand, then you've never known the power of love, and you fail to understand. An old woman holds a powerful force when she no longer needs to please. She can cut your shallow life to bits and bring you to your knees. We best get down on our knees and pray for 1,000 grandmothers. Will you please come volunteer? No longer tucked deep out of sight. Will you bring your power here? Will you bring your power here?
Isn't that a great song? It's a great song. Thank you to Holly and to Emma's Revolution for that. So, as I said, Holly wrote that in 2000, and it was well known in the justice movements, and particularly in women's justice movements, but it was an inspiration for a group of women in Northern California that is now still spreading. So this group called themselves 1,000 Grandmothers for Future Generations. And here's what they say about themselves. Moved by the courage and wisdom of the grandmothers at Standing Rock, so remember the Standing Rock incident, a half dozen elder women from Oakland and Berkeley, California started meeting in October of 2016. Our first work together was supporting the grandmothers at Standing Rock, who, as water protectors, stood up against the fossil fuel industry's Dakota Access Pipeline. So these women in Northern California saw these grandmothers, these elder indigenous grandmothers, choosing to stand in the forefront to protect the earth. And these elder women decided to organize. Guided by our core group's belief that grandmothers have a deep heart connection to future generations and could be a powerful voice in the climate movement, they began organizing elder women around the area and also around the world around this. So in the spirit of indigenous traditions, which call all elder women grandmothers, the group includes people who, some have biological or adoptive grandchildren and some do not. They are elder women and also their allies who, in their words, are stepping up to the urgency of the climate crisis and who act in support of the rights of Native Americans and other frontline communities to address the climate crisis by addressing systemic racism. That's a lot of words, but it's not the stereotypical image of a grandmother. Grandmothers got a lot more going on than sweet tea and biscuits. Okay? The methods of these 1,000 grandmothers, though, match the qualities we've been talking about. This is what they say. Their core principles are nonviolent action, community building, and kindness. So as we honor all those who provide care in the world on this Mothering Day, let us remember that receptivity and passivity are not the same thing. To honor the mothering principle is not the same as expecting people in women's bodies or embodying feminine qualities to be passive and not able to be powerful agents in the world. To be kind is not to be weak. To be loving is not the opposite of being powerful. And it is not the opposite of being passionate and justice-seeking. These things go together. These are things we encourage in this community. This community is meant to cultivate our wholeness, to cultivate both the ability to receive care and to be active agents in the world. So here's just a few things you can do as part of this community to go out in the world and make a difference. You can always provide financial support to this institution. Our QR code is available online. It is available around the room. There is a box for donations on the back table if you're here in person. There are always ways that you can support us financially. Just a reminder, next week is our congregational meeting after the service, at which we will be announcing our final budget for this year. And I want you all to just go like this right now, because I'm going to give away the secret that this is the first year since I've been here that we've actually raised more in our Canvas campaign than we asked for. That is both action and nurturance, so thank you all for that. You can also make donations to our Share the Plate partner. You can designate a donation to our Share the Plate partner, which is Knox Pride right now, and there is a basket in the hallway that is our donation basket for the Knox Pride Center's food pantry. I will go get these sign-ups. We are doing a couple of field trips to the Knox Pride Center if you'd like to learn more about Knox Pride. I'll put those on the back table. You can sign up for one of those field trips in the next few weeks. The Green Sanctuary Committee continues to do good work. I believe, Jerry, May 25th, is that correct? Saturday, May 25th, if you would like to help out with some of the projects around the grounds, you can come that day. There'll be information in the newsletter, and we'll be announcing that. So a couple weeks from now, there's an opportunity to do some physical work on the grounds. We are also looking for volunteers who would be interested in helping us set up some child care for our weekly services. So what we're looking to do is just have a list of people who say, yep, I'm going to be there that day, and if there's a child that needs care in one of the children's rooms, I'll help with that. We have to have 2 people every week. Most weeks right now, it's not going to happen every single week, but we just need people who are willing, if you're here and if there are children here that need to leave the room, that you would be one of the people willing to help do that. So if you want to do that, you can let me know. You can also email our membership coordinator at membership@westsideuc.org. So once we have a team in place, we'll create a schedule for that. So there are lots of ways, all kinds of different ways that we can both give care and hold containers for each other, and also that we can be active in the world. So for our closing, I'm going to invite you to do the thing that we do every week, which is an active act of care, nurturing, and circling. So if you'd like to rise. It is a powerful act if you do not want to hold hands, to not hold anybody's hand. Please hold your own hands or put your hands in your pockets if you don't want to hold hands. It is totally okay to do that. All right. Now you're all looking towards me. Look around the room. No mother or father can do it alone. No act of care or nurturance happens in a vacuum. We all need the larger circle of community so that care can be shared between us. Let us be thankful this day for all those who have given us care, all those in this room who continue to give us care, and let us be thankful for our own ability to be the ones who provide the love that this world needs. Go in peace, go in passion, to be the love and the change you wish to see in the world. May it be so.